Joumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Joumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Joumana Kayrouz.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Joumana Kayrouz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Joumana Kayrouz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
برنامج يور رايتس مع المحامية جومانا كيروز المختصة في قضايا حوادث السيارات مع نخبة من المحامين في اختصاصات عدة منها الطلاق والهجرة والإفلاس يأتيكم الآن على الهواء مباشرة. تحية طيبة لكم أحبائي المستمعين. أنتم تستمعون إلى حلقة جديدة من برنامج يور رايتس مع المحامية جومانا كيروز، وحلقة مخصصة لمناقشة قضايا الإفلاس مع المحامي مايكل بانكستين. مكاتب المحامية جومانا كيروز تستقبل قضاياكم المتعلقة بالبيرسونال انجري، ومن ضمنها قضايا حوادث السيارات، قضايا الهجرة والتجنس، الإفلاس، قضايا الفاميلي لو، كريمينال لو، السوشيال سيكوريتي، وإصابات العمل. للاستشارات المجانية بإمكانكم الاتصال على رقم 248-557-3645 248-557-3645. بإمكانكم أيضا الاستماع إلى هذه الحلقات مرة أخرى على الموقع الإلكتروني yourrights.com/radio أو على اليوتيوب. كل ما عليكم والبحث عن قناة جومانا كيروز. تحياتنا لكم. جومانا، أهلا وسهلا فيك في راديو سينا.
صباح الخير رامي، صباح الخير لكل المستمعين.
أهلا وسهلا، تحياتنا لك.
تحياتنا لك كمان. عم تزهق منا؟ عم تشوفها كل يوم هلا صرت 2 3 4 5 جمعة.
سعداء بوجودكم أكيد بالمعلومات والفائدة الكبيرة اللي تقدموها للجالية.
إن شاء الله يا رب.
اليوم حلقة جديدة إن شاء الله، وراح تكون مخصصة لموضوع الإفلاس، وأكيد نرحب بمايكل. مايكل، ويلكم.
مرحبا رامي. مرحبا جومانا.
مرحبا مايكل. عم تحكي عن حلقة جديدة. رح اقول له يخبرنا قصة ساينفيلد، لأقول لك انه اوقات بنردد المعلومات بس بطريقة اخرى، لانه ما فينا كتير نحكي بطريقة دقيقة جدا الا اذا حدا اتصل فينا وعنده سيناريو صح. معين. موضوع البانكربسي، موضوع السوشيال سيكوريتي، بحس انه فيهم غموض، لانه مش كل العالم تحكي عنهم، ولانه معقدة شوي الامور. لازم نحكي بطريقة بسيطة، ولازم نردد المعلومات. يعني بعد في كتير اشخاص ما بيعرفوا شو تشابتر 7 شو تشابتر 13، وكتير اسئله نحن بنعتبرها بدائيه. عم بحكي كنت تحضيرا لليوم مع المحامي مايكل بانكستين، عم بقول انه لازم نردد بعض المعلومات، لانه اولا منا سهلة لهالدرجة، وثانيا مش المستمعين دايما هن ذاتهم. فخبرني عن ساينفيلد. I want you to tell on the air what you told me about the Seinfeld show and how I said to you we may be repeating some information but we may put it in a different way, in a different context. Some people who may not have listened before will listen today. It may click in some people's mind today. It didn't click before. And you proceeded to tell me about Seinfeld.
Oh yes, I remember that. We were talking about that just this morning. The Seinfeld show, I mean, that's been off the air for 21 years. And I watched it fairly regularly back in the day when I was in college. But then the other night, I'm just watching TV kind of late, and I see an episode that I've never seen before. So even 21 years after it's off the air, you see something, and it's like, well, that's pretty cool. It's new to me.
And sometimes I listen to the same tape. Let's say I'm listening to something, a particular subject, and my mind will pick up certain things. When I listen to it again, I'll pick up other things, and I'm like, did I not hear this? And probably I didn't, or I wasn't ready to hear it, or the thought that was proposed before, took me into my own world, and the idea that was proposed after escaped me. So repetition is very important. We can't make it too complex for our listeners because we will lose them. They will no longer be interested, and that's not at all what we want. We just want to educate the listeners just enough and tell them that I can say this with a straight face. We always say that you don't need a lawyer, but more often than not, you want a lawyer. I can tell you that when it comes to bankruptcy law, you want a lawyer. You don't need a lawyer because it's not self-explanatory.
That's so true. I mean, there's been so many times where, me and my clients are there, waiting for our case or our cases to get called, and I'll see some poor soul who's trying to put it together, trying to do the best they can, but this form isn't right, that form isn't right, this checkbox wasn't checked, that certificate wasn't attached, this thing isn't right, and they got to go back there. I've seen getting called 2 times back, 3 times back, 4 times back, and just really floundering, and because it's not intuitive at all.
By the way, don't ask me why, as you're saying this, I got the intuition to open our reviews, because I see more and more reviews about you. I want to read like the past couple of reviews, because I know you deserve them, Michael. You deserve them, and they are from the heart. This person by the name of Shipley, Michael Bankstein, that's yesterday, yesterday. Michael Bankstein helped me get through my bankruptcy beautifully. He really took the time to make sure I understood the process and got me to the end painlessly and professionally. I want to read another one that really hit me, where the person said that you made it very simple. You kind of broke it down. And that was a very it was a great opportunity. This is a gentleman by the name of Montgomery. It was a great opportunity for me and my attorney, Michael Bankstein. He was very helpful, and he showed me that help is out there for anyone who is considering bankruptcy. I'm trying to find the one where this person was almost crying out, saying that you made it very easy, and you took kind of the shame out of it. You took I'm not sure, I can't seem to find it very quickly, but something to the effect that you kind of broke it down for this person, and you made it enjoyable, and that this person isn't carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders anymore. And it really did struck me. It's okay, Michael, you don't have to look right now, because look at you, Michael. Aren't you
see, I think the Google reviews defaults to a different setting. What I tend to do is I tend to hit the drop down and hit most recent.
Okay, well, but young man, there are a lot of reviews here about other lawyers in the office, so you don't want me to read about those, do you?
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I'm a team player, and I think what I like about many things I like about the office, but one of the things I like the best is there's a number of attorneys, each of whom specialize in a different area, so we can really take a holistic approach to getting you back out on the road, whatever your issue is.
It's really wonderful that under one roof you have all these people who specialize and who have years of experience specializing. It makes it a lot easier and more pleasant, and you don't have to wait, and you don't have to place calls, and it makes it so convenient.
Divorce, criminal, Social Security, auto accident, bankruptcy. It's great.
Yeah, it makes us smarter lawyers because you have access to the information right away. You found the person I'm talking about, Lisha B. I work with Michael Bankstein. He made the process very easy. He walked me through each step of the way. If you gotta file bankruptcy, make sure you hire him. He will make sure everything is good. I love that. Oh, look at this one, Jazz B. Michael Bankstein is a genius. He really knows his stuff. And I felt comfortable with him at the wheel of my legal issues. And you know something? You really know your stuff, Michael.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're a genius. I haven't seen any IQ testing.
Well, a secret wish of mine one of these days is to sit for the Mensa test, and I think I probably will be sadly disappointed, but I'd be pleased if I got in there.
May I respectfully tell you that the IQ test, the intellectual quotient test, in my opinion, and I don't know, Rami, if you agree, is a lot less important in today's world than the EQ test, which is the emotional quotient. IQ tests your intellectual abilities. EQ tests your emotional intelligence to be successful in today's world, whether in your relationship with your wife, with your significant other, with your children, with your clients, with the world at large, in networking. You have to be savvy, and you have to be you have to possess emotional intelligence. You have to kind of be able to read people, be able to read situations, know when to stop, when to push, read cues. That's all part of intelligence.
Right.
All part of intelligence. Unless you are some research attorney in the back office of the law firm where you don't have to deal with so many people and you are researching law all day long, you really need emotional intelligence.
Well, this is definitely a business. If you can't talk to the judge, if you can't persuade the trustee, if you can't work something out with opposing counsel in a way that works for your clients and comports with their desires and goals, it's quite a trick to pull off every day. But I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to do this and to help people.
So if you do the Mensa test, make sure you also take an emotional quotient test as well.
I hadn't heard of EQ. I'm intrigued.
EQ.
I'm intrigued. That's on my Wikipedia palette for this evening.
Absolutely. EQ, emotional quotient. I know a number of people who are highly intelligent as far as their IQ, high scorers, got great grades, have amazing degrees, and they are socially very compromised. Right. And that is an impediment to their success. You need both. And if I have to choose, I want more EQ than I want IQ, because it will get me a lot farther than having more IQ than EQ.
That's a great way to put it.
Thank you. And now we have to talk about bankruptcy. How about we put a song? No, we're going to talk about bankruptcy.
No, you don't want to hear me sing. I do a thrilling rendition of La Bamba, but this is not the place for that.
What is La Bamba?
Oh, it's just an old song from Mexico.
Attorney Michael Bankstein, by the way, want to remind the listeners, I promise you, Rami, in about a week or 2 or 3, I will stop saying that because we now have the new air times and we are on the radio every day. So I wanted to remind the listeners of that. And effective August 5, so we are today July 30, effective August 5, which is next Monday in 6 days, we will be on the air every day at 1 p.m. Your show, Attorney Michael Bankstein, will no longer air at 12 p.m. It will air at 1 p.m. And you have a show every Tuesday. And we were talking the other time. I was a little bit frustrated because we encouraged the listeners to call and nobody called. And I know it's the summer, so there's that. People are enjoying the weather in the summer. So, I did forget that. But you also reminded me of something. You said, Joumana, the phone floods in the office. People don't want to call on the air. A lot of people don't want to call on the air. There is still that issue of, will somebody recognize my voice? And we understand that and we respect that. So I guess I'm saying all this to say, as long as they believe that the show is helpful, that we are making a difference in educating people, I'm okay with people not calling, no problem. Those who wish to call are welcome to. Those who are uncomfortable, we certainly don't want to add to that discomfort by having them call. God knows they're going through a lot.
I get it. It's a close-knit community. It's a small world. I get it.
Yes. I mean, if I called on the air, people are going to know my voice, even if I were not on the radio every day. But you don't think my voice is known to my friends, and you don't think my voice is recognized to my family members. So if I called and these same people are listening, they're going to recognize my voice. So we understand, we respect, as long as we're doing a good job, as long as we are doing our part and educated and making things easier. But like you said, in the office, no hesitation about calling. They call like crazy, especially after...
People got a million questions, yeah.
Especially after your Tuesday show, you get an increase in calls because I think they listen.
Oh yes. We've got someone at the phone right now. If someone wants to call.
Thank you. Have you heard of Susie Orman?
I have. I actually use her as an example.
Oh, I love Susie Orman. Susie Orman, is she now on CNBC or NBC or something like that? In addition to a lot of other shows she is on. She is a financial expert, very smart. She's funny. She knows her stuff. I used to watch her and listen to her for years, and then I fell off the bandwagon. She makes such good sense. She has amazing books. She breaks it down. She talks at a very basic level, in ways that people understand. I absolutely love her. One of the things that, related to bankruptcy, but not quite, Attorney Michael Bankstein, when we talk about bankruptcy, we talk about credit score, we talk about credit reporting, we talk about debt. I mean, it's all, can be related to bankruptcy because you may, as a result of your debt, end up in bankruptcy. And she categorized, and I always talk about good debt and bad debt, right?
Yes.
Good debt is when you have debt on your home. That's called mortgage debt. That's good debt. Why is it good debt? Because you can always sell that home. And most of the time, your home, retains its value, or you make a little bit of a profit, or you lose a little bit. That in the law, in the eyes of Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, is called good debt. That's not considered a bad thing. That's considered a good thing. That's on one hand. On the other hand, credit card debt is bad debt. Bad debt. Because most of the stuff that you buy on a credit card has no value. Once you buy it, the value is gone. Versus mortgage debt is good debt. So good debt, bad debt. But she labeled the debts, all various kind of debts, in order of importance. She says, if you are asking my advice as to how to approach the debt and how to pay your debt, I want to break it down in most important to least important. The first thing she said, IRS debt. She goes, bad, bad, bad. Owing money to the IRS. Any money to the IRS is bad, bad, bad. Because anytime you owe money to the IRS, the IRS can legally, if you don't pay them, they will seize your money. They will seize your bank accounts at any time. So you don't want to mess with the IRS. Do you agree?
I agree, and I hope you don't mind if I throw a little tagline about bankruptcy in on each one of these points.
Yes, please.
Even if you owe, sometimes people don't file their income tax return because, well, I knew I was going to owe. Not filing your income tax return doesn't mean that you don't owe. You want to file the income tax return even if you're not able to send a check in, because when you go to file for bankruptcy, if you need to, generally speaking, if the tax debt was 3 tax years ago or greater and the tax returns were timely filed, you may very well be able to discharge or eliminate all that debt in a bankruptcy. If it's less than 3 tax years ago, or if it's greater than 3 tax years ago and you didn't file the tax returns for 2 or 3 years, debt which could have been dischargeable may not be dischargeable. So even if you owe, go ahead and file the return. Not filing doesn't mean you don't owe. And by filing it, you may very well lower the tax debt, because when the tax authority is looking at your tax debt, if you haven't filed your tax return, all they have is your gross income and your tax bracket. So they kind of apply how much they think your taxes are. That's different than if you filed the return and you've got all the tax credits and all the tax deductions. You may be able to lower the bill simply by filing the return. And then if you still can't pay, then down the road, so long as you filed the returns timely and the appropriate amount of time has gone by, you may be able to discharge all of that debt in a bankruptcy.
Okay, so to simplify that, and that's why we always talk about trying to talk simply so that we don't lose the listeners, but giving enough information that they're aware. And I will translate all this into Arabic in a minute. What you are saying is, even if you are going to head to bankruptcy or you don't know, file your tax returns timely every year, even if you cannot pay the IRS the taxes on it. File the return, because that may help you if you come to a point where you need to file for bankruptcy. Correct?
File your taxes. File your taxes. File your taxes.
Okay, I love that. So لحتى نترجم بالعربي، كنا عم نحكي عن سيدة اسمها سوزي SUZE أوربان. هيدي السيدة أنا لحقتها على سنين عديدة، وبيقول المحامي بانكستين إنه هو كمان امرأة عبقرية، امرأة هي she's a financial advisor. بتعطي كتير نصائح على الراديو، بتعطي كتير نصائح على التلفزيون، دايما بشوفها كانت CNN CNBC إلى آخره. كاتبة كتب كتير كتير بتشرح وبطريقة كتير بسيطة وبطريقة كتير سهلة للمستهلك المستهلكين عن الأمور المادية، عن أمور الكريدت كاردز، عن أمور البانكربسي، عن أمور المورجز، أي شيء بخص المصاري. سوزي أورمان حكي عنه ومعلومات هائلة عنها أكيد على يوتيوب. أنا ولا مرة سمعت على يوتيوب بس ما عندي شك. على جوجل عندك كتب عديدة، عندي جزء كبير من الكتب تبعها. السبب اللي عم بذكرها اليوم كاتبة لائحة عن الديون، الدين الإنسان بيتعرض له. كقاعدة عامة في دين جيد بيسموه good debt، وفي دين عاطل بيسموه bad debt. لأعطي example، وهيدا الجود debt والباد debt بهم كتير اكيفاكس، اكسبيريون وترانس يونيون، الشركات الثلاثه اللي بتحدد واللي بتعمل الكالكوليشن للكريدت سكور تبع كل انسان. وقت اللي بيجوا ليعملوا الكريدت سكور تبع الانسان بياخدوا بعين الاعتبار ديونه وشو نوع الديون. يعني الدين اللي عنده الانسان لانه عم يدفع بيته بينظروا له بغير طريقة من الدين اللي عنده إياه على الكريدت كارد تبعه. ما بينظروا لهم بذات الطريقة، لأنه الدين على بيته القانون بيعتبره a good debt، ما بيجازي عليه. بس الدين اللي على الكريدت كارد بيعتبر bad debt وبيتجازى عليه وبينزل الكريدت سكور تبعه. عطت هي الست ديون وعم تقول بأي طريقة لازم الإنسان ينظر لهم لحتى يدفعون. يعني للشخص اللي عنده إن كان ديون الكريدت كارد، وإن كان عنده ديون على البيت تبعه، وإن كان عنده ستودنت لون، وإن كان عنده كار لون، كيف بده يدفعون؟ فعطت هون الليستة. بأول الليستة مسؤولية كل إنسان يدفع بالأول IRS debt. بتقول owing any money to the IRS is bad. ليه؟ لأنه أي إنسان عنده مصاري للIRS إذا ما بتدفعها بيحطوا لين، وهيدا it's a public filing على اسمه للإنسان. هيدا واحد. وثانيا بيقدروا يحجزوا كل البنك اكاونتس تبعه. يعني ما في مزح with the IRS debt. ننتقل للدفع من بعد IRS debt. بتقول هي ننتقل لستودنت لون. So she calls student loans the second debt on the list that you want to pay. Tell us your thoughts on that.
That's interesting, because I bet you 20 years ago that would have been considered good debt. But as time goes on, as the tuition subsidies have been pulled back by the states, as tuition's getting more expensive, as the student loan debt now is up to around $1.6 trillion, now that seems to be slowly shifting from good debt to bad debt in some cases.
So, regardless of whether it's good debt or bad debt, she says, when you have debt in many areas, such as credit card debt and IRS debt and mortgage debt and student loan debt, first, pay off the IRS debt because you owe the IRS and you do not mess with the IRS. And you added a piece of information as a side note, because you don't know whether in a year or two or in 6 months you're going to file bankruptcy. That's advice to everybody. Make sure you file your tax returns timely, even if you are unable to pay your taxes on time, because that will help you later. The second kind of debt, you said it used to be bad debt,
well,
good debt. Now it's more like bad debt. Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Back in the 90s, there was a time when it was always get more schooling. If you got a high school education, go to college. If you go to college, go to grad school, get a master's degree, get a PhD, because every dollar you put into that, you're always going to get a lot back. But now I've seen people absolutely with microbiology degrees and can't get a job, and different things like that. And now sometimes maybe, particularly with, I don't want to name any particular, but late at night, at 1 o'clock in the morning, you see some of these somewhat fly-by-night schools, and you wind up paying $10,000, but it's not accredited, and nobody looks at a degree from that institution as being prestigious. And there's plenty of people that did the best they could, thought they were doing the right thing, but now they're saddled with $20,000 or $30,000 in debt. So I guess maybe that's sort of a maybe. Depends on how you put everything together in terms of whether that's good debt or not.
Can the institution that loans you student loans garnish your wages? Is it a secured debt?
It's not a secured debt because it's not tied to anything. One thing I have seen is if someone has tuition, which is a little bit different than student loan, but if they have tuition and they owe the school money, it's frequently the school won't release your transcripts, won't issue your degree if they're not paid. So that can be, it's not maybe technically secured, but it's in the nature of secured if it holds up your life.
Well, she says after you pay first in the order of priority your IRS debt, if you have student loan debt, chances are it's not discharged in bankruptcy. We did a whole show about when student loans can and cannot be discharged. We've always maintained from day one, generally speaking, student loans are not discharged, are not wiped out in bankruptcy. However, there are rare circumstances with certain factors where they are. We did a whole show. It's available on YouTube under the Joumana Kayrouz YouTube channel. It is on our website under Your Rights/radio. So anyone who wants to know more about student loans can find out more. But do know that generally speaking, it's not discharged in bankruptcy. Yeah, you can arrange for a deferment or a forbearance, but generally speaking, you want to pay it right below IRS.
And to throw one more thing in there to kind of tie our discussion in from student loans along with what Ms. Orman is saying is, again, generally it's not dischargeable, so there's no reason not to pay it. But even in cases where it's dischargeable, one of the things they look at is, have you ever paid on the student loans? So if someone has made a clear effort to pay the student loans over some period of time and then they're not able to, that's one of the factors that the court looks into as to whether or not they're going to find that there's an undue hardship and discharge them. So even if you ultimately are seeking to discharge them, it still makes sense to try and pay on them because it's probably not dischargeable. And then if you are in a situation where it might be dischargeable, they look at whether you've ever made payments. You know, you're 6 months out of school or 2 years out of school and you've never made a payment and now you're trying to discharge it. That's a different case from someone who's been out of school for 15 years and some things have happened in their life and they made payments when they could, but now they can't make payments anymore.
Correct. And I want to remind the listeners that like every Tuesday, we have a 1-hour show with attorney Michael Bankstein from the office, and it's always about bankruptcy and bankruptcy matters. Going back to Susie Orman, the next thing on her list, after you make sure you don't mess with the IRS, you make sure you pay your IRS debt and then your student loans, and right after that is what she calls mortgage debt, meaning what you owe on your home. And that's kind of self-explanatory. You don't want somebody to take your home away from you. So the last thing you want really is losing your home. And so you do your best and you try to stay on top of the mortgage payments, right?
That's correct. That's correct. In a bankruptcy, depending on, in a Chapter 7 liquidation bankruptcy, where you're just keeping your stuff and dumping the unsecured debt, your credit cards, medical bills, you have to be current or near current on the mortgage if you want to keep the house. For a Chapter 13, that's a repayment plan. If you do get behind on the mortgage, that's a way that you can catch up the mortgage over 3 to 5 years as opposed to, 3 to 5 days like the bank is asking for if you're facing a foreclosure situation. But however you slice it or dice it, that's we'd always want to put the money in the mortgage instead of, I've seen people do the opposite, take money out of their house, get a home equity line of credit to pay off the credit cards.
Absolutely not.
Congratulations, you've taken unsecured debt and securitized it and tied it into your home. Now if you can't pay, you could lose your home. So don't do that.
Don't ever do that. Wonderful advice. And that is why she also says you pay your mortgage before you pay your credit card. And she does say your credit cards are not secured, is not secured debt. They can't make you lose your home or your job or your car to pay the credit card. And I think a lot of people still don't know that. So لنرجع للعربي، الاختصاصية سوزي أورمان بتقول وقت الإنسان عنده دين بأكتر من نوع، اللي عنده دين للIRS you don't mess with the IRS بتدفعه بالأول. ثانيا للإنسان اللي عنده student loans بتدفعه ثانيا. وما ننسى انه student loans بالعموم اذا قدم الشخص اللي عنده student loan bankruptcy، الستودنت لون ما بتنمحى بقلب البانكربسي، يعني بيطلع من البانكربسي ومسؤولياته بالنسبه للستودنت لونز بعدها هي ذاتها. من بعد ما ندفع الستودنت لونز بننتقل للمورجج ديت، يعني المورجج بيمنت على البيت. ليه؟ لانه ما بدك تخسر بيتك، ما بدك تخسر بيتك. وهون عطى المحامي مايكل بانكستين نصيحة جيدة جدا، قال فيها وإياكم وثم إياكم إنه تاخدوا مصاري من الكريدت كارد، تاخدوا مصاري بعتذر من المورجج، تاخدوا second line of equity لتدفعوا الكريدت كارد، لأنه يمكن تخسروا بيتكم. ما فينا أبدا ولا مرة ناخد مصاري من البيت من المورجج لندفع الكريدت كارد، لأنه يمكن تخسروا بيتكم إذا ما قدرتوا دفعتوا المورجج. المورجج جدي، لأنه المورجج هو البيت، وممكن ساعتها البنك تخسرنا البيت وتاخد البيت من إيدينا انتقالا من بعد ما بالأول ندفع IRS، وثانيا ندفع الستودنت لونز، وثالثا ندفع المورجج ديت. هون بتجي السيارة كار لون ديت. So Susie Orman says after you make sure you've paid the IRS, your student loans and your mortgage debt, it's time to look at your car. And I think it's also self-explanatory. Just like you need a roof over your head, you also need a car to go to work so that you can make money and keep a roof over your head.
That's absolutely true. Again, much like the mortgage debt, in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you have to be current or near current on your car in order to be able to keep the car. And in a Chapter 13, much like if you're behind on the mortgage, if you're behind on your car, I've absolutely had people file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to keep the car from getting repossessed so they can get to work, so they can make money, so they can keep their job and keep their life going.
So, Attorney Michael Bankstein, if somebody has a car and they fall behind on paying the car, their car will be repossessed sooner or later.
Correct.
Okay. If somebody has a house and they fall behind on paying the house note, their house sooner or later will be repossessed, correct?
Correct, unless you do something like file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy.
Of course, which is completely different from credit card debt. That's the point I want to make.
Absolutely.
If you don't pay on your home, sooner or later you will lose your home. If you don't pay on your car, sooner or later you're going to lose your car. Having said that, if you have to make a choice, keep a roof over your head more than a car. Ideally, you want both because you want a car so that you can keep a job, so that you can keep a roof over your head. Now, if you don't make payments on your credit cards, guess what? They're not going to take your car, or they're not going to take your home. They're not going to garnish your wages. They're not going to bring the sheriff to your home. Well, unless they get a judgment. But we're saying if you fall behind on your car, they don't need to go sue you in court. They'll come back and get the car. If you fall behind on your home, there are legal procedures, but then it's gone. But when it comes to credit cards, if you fall behind on your credit card, there is a whole lengthy process. They have to take you to court and prove that you owe them the debt. And then if you don't answer, then they can do certain things.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. They can't do that until they get a judgment.
Non-payment, they're not going to come and take your home or your car. And some people are still don't know that. That's why she says the last debt you want to pay and the last debt you want to... Now, we're not talking about what it does to your credit, but we're saying, you want to, you don't want to mess with the IRS. You want them off your back. You want to pay your student loan. You want to keep your home, because if you don't pay your home, they're going to come and get it relatively very quickly. If you don't pay your car, they're going to come and repossess it relatively quickly. But if you don't pay your credit card, it will be a lengthy process before they can do anything about it. In the immediate term, they're not going to come get your credit card or get your car or get your home or get your furniture. Correct?
Correct. And here's an interesting point about the credit cards. You're correct. They can repossess the car relatively quickly. They can tee it up for a foreclosure if you get behind on the mortgage relatively quickly. On the credit cards, sometimes for a variety of reasons, a person isn't quite ready to file for bankruptcy yet, or they're getting the money together to make all the payments to file a bankruptcy. The credit card people, they can call you, they can write you. Eventually, They can sue you. If you get a lawsuit, though, there's definitely some strategies. I know I've written at least one blog article about lawsuits, probably a couple on garnishments and things of that nature. There are strategies for delaying that process. If somebody serves you with a lawsuit because of credit cards, you've got 21 days to respond if they serve you in person. If they serve it by mail, you've got 28 days. So don't wait until next month. Don't wait 6 weeks later. Come and see us, because I've absolutely had someone say, well, I'm not quite ready yet, but I don't want to get garnished, because as soon as they get that judgment, then they can intercept tax refunds. They can hit your bank account. They can garnish up to 25% of your gross wages. But simply by filing a response on time to that complaint, you can get that set out for hearing on a crowded state court calendar. And again, you don't need to win in state court. You just need to buy yourself some time to put the bankruptcy together. And as soon as the bankruptcy is filed, they have to stop what they're doing with that state court lawsuit.
So خلاصة الأمر، الشخص اللي ما بيدفع IRS debt ما بيقدر يهرب من IRS، لأنه بيقدروا يفرزوا الأكاونتس تبعه. الإنسان اللي ما بيدفع المورجج على بيته بطريقة سريعة رح يخسر بيته. الإنسان اللي ما بيدفع اللون على السيارة تبعه بطريقة سريعة رح يخسر السيارة. وإنما الإنسان اللي ما بيدفع المصاري على الكريدت كارد تبعه، ونحن ما عم نشجع الأشخاص ما يدفعوا، بس عم نحاول ننبههم الفرق بالمخاطر عن من جهة عدم دفع الكار نوت ولا الهاوس نوت، ومن جهة تانية عدم دفع الكريدت كارد. لأنه إذا ما بندفع البيت بنخسر البيت، إذا ما بندفع السيارة بنخسر السيارة. وإنما إذا ما دفعنا الكريدت كارد it's unsecured debt، يعني إذا ما دفعني ما بيقدروا ياخدوا البيت، ما بيقدروا ياخدوا السيارة، ما بيقدروا ياخدوا مصاري، ما بيقدروا يفرزوا الأكاونت، ما بيقدروا يعملوا garnishment على الويجز. الشغلة الوحيدة اللي بيقدروا يعملوها هن يقدموا دعوة ويمشوا بالدعوة ولا تخلص الدعوة، والقاضي بيأمر قد ايه الدفع بالشهر، وإذا الإنسان ما قدر دفع ساعتها بياخدوا نسخة عن هذه الدعوة من بعد مرور شهور وأوقات سنة وسنتين لحتى ياخدوه لعند رب العمل، لياخدوه على البنك وياخدوا مصاري موجودة بالبنك، أو ياخدوا لحد إذا مش غلطانة 25% من مدخول كل إنسان. Garnishing wages is only up to 25%.
Yes, that's the max.
Okay.
But it's of your gross wages, not your take home.
اوكي سو خلاصة الأمر عم نحكي عن ديون. الاختصاصية بهيدا الموضوع سوزي أورمان بتقول للإنسان اللي عنده ديون من أنواع مختلفة، إن كانت للحكومة، إن كانت على بيت، إن كانت على سيارة، ولا إن كانت على كريدت كارد، الأولوية بتنعطى للحكومة بالأول، لأنه نحن بنعرف الحكومة شو قدراتها. عم نحكي عن IRS بالتحديد. ثانيا للستودنت لونز. ثالثا للبيت، لأنه اللي ما بيدفع البيت بيخسر البيت بطريقة سريعة. ثالثا السيارة، لأنه اللي ما بيدفع السيارة ما بقى عنده سيارة لحتى يروح يشتغل ليكمل يعيش ويدفع البيت، وكمان لأنه بياخدوها بطريقة سريعة بيسموها repossession. وأخيرا إذا بقي مصاري تندفع الكريدت كارد. نحن مش عم نحكي عن عدم دفع الكريدت كارد وتأثيره على الكريدت سكور، بس عم نحكي كقاعدة عامة انه الكريدت كارد ديت هو اخر شيء لازم الانسان يفكر فيه، لانه مخاطر عدم الدفع طويلة كتير كتير كتير، منا قصيرة مثل اللي ما بيدفع بيته أو مثل اللي ما بيدفع السيارة تبعه. هيدول رح يخسرهم بطريقة سريعة. بس اللي ما بيدفع الكريدت كارد in the short term in the short run، يعني أول شهر، شهرين، 6 أشهر، حتى أوقات لحد السنة، إذا ما دفع ما رح يصير له شيء. ما رح يقدروا ياخدوا بيته لأنه ما دفع الكريدت كارد، ما رح يقدروا ياخدوا سيارته، يحجزوا له السيارة لأنه ما دفع الكريدت كارد، ما بيقدروا ياخدوا مصاري من الأكاونت تبعه، ما بيقدروا يعملوا garnishment على الأكاونت تبعه، ما بيقدروا يعملوا garnishment تبع الويجز تبعه، لأنه الكريدت كارد ديت هو مش مثل المورجج ديت ومش مثل الكار لون ديت. it's unsecured. ما بعرف كيف بدي افسرها بالعربي. unsecured debt يعني الكريدت كارد وقت اللي بتعطي كريدت كارد لإنسان ما بتاخد مقابلها ما بتاخد مقابلها شيء بالمعادل انه اذا الشخص ما دفع بيرده بطريقه تانية. مش مثل مثلا المورجج ديت. المورجج ديت البنك ما بتعطي مصاري للانسان اذا التايتل تبع البيت مش باسم البنك، حتى اذا هذا الانسان عجز عن الدفع بايدهم التايتل هن بيملكوا البيت. بس الكريدت كارد وقت اللي بتعطي مصاري للانسان، وقت اللي بتعطيه كارد، ما عم تاخد مقابيلها شغله بتاكد او بتاهل الكريدت كارد اذا صار في عجز عن الدفع انه ياخدوا شيء مقابيلها. It's not secured. How shall I explain unsecured?
Here's the way I explain it to people. Secured versus unsecured. People write PhD dissertations on this. They don't have me teach a class on it because I can explain it in about 1 minute. So I don't think people would have a 16-week class over it. So you can think of secured as the old-fashioned word for tied. You'd never say secure your shoes, but it means kind of the same thing. So mortgage is secured because the mortgage is tied to the house. They're going to get the money or they're going to get the house back. A car note is secured because it's tied to the debt. If they don't get the money, they're going to repo the car. That's different.
Repossess the car.
That's correct. They're gonna take the car, repossess the car. But credit cards, medical bills, personal loans, payday loans, that isn't really tied to any tangible asset that you could take. That, by the way, is one of the reasons why the interest rate's so much higher on the unsecured side than
because
the secured
risk
side.
to the credit card company is much higher. That maybe you will file bankruptcy and they will never see any payment.
That's why they have to make their money across the whole system, whereas you have some specific relief with a mortgage or a car note. That's how I kind of think of secured versus unsecured.
So بفسرها secured مثل مثلا البيت انه البنك عم تعطي مصاري لانه صاحب البيت هو بعد مش صاحبها، يعني التايتل هو باسم البنك. البنك ما رح تعطي التايتل للبيت ليخلص اللون. يعني اذا هذا الشخص عجز عن الدفع التايتل باسم البنك، صاحبة البيت هي البنك. So it's tied. معلق الدين تبع البنك معلق بالبيت. الشخص عاطي البيت حتى لو دافع جزء كبير منه، على فكرة الشخص عاطي البيت للبنك. هيدا الكونفيرميشن او هيدا الوعد انه إذا ما دفع الشخص بيقدر يحصل على بتقدر البنك تحصل على البيت. ذات الشيء بالنسبة للكاردات. الكاردات كمان it is secured لأنه الشخص اللي بلش يدفع على السيارة إذا عجز عن الدفع التايتل هو مش باسم الشخص، هو بعده باسم اللونينج كومباني. أما بما بخص الكريدت كارد، وقت الكريدت كارد كومباني بتعطي كريدت ما بتفرض شروط انه بدي احجز حجز. that's it. حجز secured يعني محجوز. يعني البنك اللي بتعطي مصاري فور مورجج حاجز البيت، الكومباني اللي بتعطي مصاري للسيارة حاجز السيارة، الكريدت كارد اللي بتعطي مصاري على الكريدت كارد ما حاجز شيء. ومشان هيك الريسك تبعهم عالي، ومشان هيك كقاعدة عامة الكريدت كارد كومبانيز بالمعدل بيشرجوا فايدة كتير عالية، لأنه في خطر إنه الأشخاص اللي عم يعطون الكريدت ما يقدروا يدفعوا وحتى يقدموا بانكربسي وينمحى كل شيء بالبانكربسي. كمان مرة الدات وقت اللي بنحكي مورجج دات وكار لون دات هيدول خطرين إذا الإنسان عجز عن دفعهم. بس الكريدت كارد دات ما في عليهم خطر لأنه منهم سكيورد، ما في شيء الكريدت كارد كومباني حاجزته بالمقابل. لهذا السبب الكريدت كارد كومباني اللي ما بيندفع لها ما بيقدروا يجوا ياخدوا البيت، ما بيقدروا يجوا ياخدوا السيارة، ما بيقدروا ياخدوا مصاري، يحجزوا البنك اكاونت، يتصلوا برب العمل وياخدوا جزء لحد 25%. الحل الوحيد للكريدت كارد كومبانيز اللي مش عم يندفع لهم انه يقيموا دعوة. اجمالا بتاخد معهم وقت طويل الكريدت كارد كومبانيز قبل ما يقدموا دعوة، وتتخلص الدعوة ليكون عندهم اي حق اذا الانسان من بعد الدعوة ما قدر دفع، عجز عن الدفع. ساعتها من بعد اقامة دعوة سنة ونص ساعتها بيقدروا يحجزوا جزء من الراتب تبع الشخص لحد 25% وإلى آخره. مشان هيك الاختصاصية سوزي أورمون حطت هيدول الديون بهالبرايورتي الأولوية للIRS، من بعدها student loans، من بعدها mortgage، من بعدها car loan، وآخر شيء هو الكريدت كارد debt. This was wonderful advice. What I love about Susie Orman is she makes it very, very simple. This thing almost makes me want to go pull out her books again. And you know, the foundation is so strong with her. Her books are very simple, easy to read. She's truly a genius. She truly is. There was another lady who I used to follow. Her name escapes me, and she was also, and she has written a lot of books. And one of the examples, and I pray that I will be able to find it, was an example Attorney Michael Bankstein that she gave, where she showed when you pay the minimum payment on your credit card. So here you are excited. You bought an item. It's on sale. It's 40% on sale. It was, you know, it was $200 and now it is $140, $120. You're excited. If all you're doing is paying the minimum payment on your credit card, she will show you what happens to that $120. You were so excited that you got it on sale for $120. By the time you are done paying that credit card on a minimum payment, you will be shocked what that $120 has become. Compound interest on compound interest. I would very much love, I'm going to make a note right now and try to see if I can get that example again, because Attorney Michael Bankstein, it will shock you, and I know you have very good financial understanding. It will still shock you what these amounts are, and I think we should, you know, talk about it.
Oh yeah, I've seen credit card statements where it says if you make the minimum payment, it may take 25 years and you'll wind up paying such and such, you know, at the present rate of interest with minimum payments. It's really insane.
رامي، كنت عم بحكي عن سيدة أخرى غير سوزي أورمان، كنت أتسمع لها كتير، كانت on the Oprah Network على XM راديو. ما بعرف إذا أوبرا بعد عندها XM راديو شو، بس كانت كل يوم تعطي حلقة على الساعة 1. بتذكر كنت انزل من المكتب تبعي أقعد بالسيارة واتسمع عليها. كمان كاتبة كتب كتير. بدي حاول لاقي الكتاب اللي عاتي فيه المثل عن الاشخاص اللي بيدفعوا المينيموم انترست على الكارت تبعهم، شو بيصير بالمبلغ تبعهم. عم تعطي اكزامبل انه شخص بيشتري شغله اون سيل، مبسوط انه عم بيوفر، كانت $200 وهلا صارت $120. اذا عم يدفع الكارت تبعه فقط مينيموم انترست، شو بيصير بال$120؟ وهي $120 شو بتصير؟ هدول الارقام رامي ار شوكينج. اي انسان بفتكر رح يتسمع، رح يفهم اكثر شو عم يعمل، انه كيف عم يدفع المينيموم بيمنت وشو عم بيصير فيه. وهيدي اكبر كذبه، هيدي اكبر deception. Credit card companies are extremely deceptive. هيدي أكبر كذبة وأكبر خيانة وأكبر احتيال من قبل الكريدت كارد كومبانيز، انه مثل السيجارات كومبانيز اللي ما قالوا عن المخاطر وقت اللي عارفين فيها، ولا شو بيسمون هول بالعربي اللي هي مثل السيجارات
الإلكترونية.
الفيبر. What do we call them? Instead of the cigarettes, the vapor cigarettes?
I've seen vape. I've heard of e-hookahs. I've seen Juul pods.
But
I've seen
what
all
are they
sorts
called?
of things.
What's the technical word? Vape cigarette? Vape?
Yeah, like e-cigarette or vape or something like that.
So I don't know. A few days ago, if you both heard, they were testifying in Congress how the owners of the vape cigarettes, and some of them are the cigarette owners, they're now finding another way to make money by not producing the cigarette but also producing the vape cigarette. They went into the schools and they told kids in the schools that they are totally safe.
Wow.
And they're not totally safe at all. So it's the same with credit card companies. They just don't tell you. They want you to go in knee deep. They want you to accumulate a lot of debt. Yes, they know part of the risk is some of you will file for bankruptcy, but only some of you. A lot of people don't want to file for bankruptcy. People don't get excited about filing for bankruptcy because they know they're going to get, hurt in the short term, that things will be harder for them to get, interest rates will be higher. So knowing that there is a little portion of the population will file for bankruptcy, they're okay with that, so they don't educate people.
Not only that, you want to hear something really sick?
Please.
The week that you get your discharge order in the mail, your mailbox will be filled with credit card applications. Why is that? Because they know
They're going to charge you more, and you cannot file for bankruptcy anymore.
Yeah, you can file for bankruptcy in the future, but if you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and you get a discharge, you can't file another Chapter 7 bankruptcy until 8 years have passed from the filing of the previous case. Even if later on you file a Chapter 13, you have to wait until at least 4 years have passed from the filing of the Chapter 7 before you can file a Chapter 13 that will result in a discharge of your credit card debt.
So if somebody who just emerged out of bankruptcy gets a credit card and is unable to pay it, they will then feel very comfortable to sue that person.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And they will seize, their account. They will garnish up to 25% of their gross wages.
And they've got 6 years from the last voluntary payment to sue you. So that's another reason why they're trying to get $20 here, $30 there. They're trying to hit the reset button on the 6 years. And then if they sue you and get a judgment, that judgment's good for 10 years. And under Michigan law, they can renew that judgment for one additional 10-year period. So they could be coming after you for 26 years on a credit card debt.
Oh, okay. Didn't think about it this way, with the judgment being renewed, good for 10 years, renewed the second time. So you are exposed for up to 26 years. خلينا نفسرها هيدي بالعربي لشوف قد بعد عنا وقت. نقطة كتير مهمة، 5 دقايق. الستاتيوت اوف ليميتيشن دايما نحن بنحكي انه مثلا لتقدر تقدم دعوة لسبب خطأ طبي عندك 2 سنين، لتقدر تقدم دعوة عطل وضرر حدا ضربك لا سمح الله بالسيارة عندك 3 سنوات. دايما القانون بيعطيك مهنة مدة معينة ما فيك تتخطاها إلا إذا ماني غلطانة when it comes to murder وقصص من هالنوع ما في statute of limitation، يعني ما في وقت معين. بالكريدت كارد عقد بين 2 6 سنوات. when it comes to credit card بما بخص الكريدت كاردز بيغشوك، بيتصلوا فيك بيقولوا لك فيك تدفع $10، بيكون أنت دينك $20,000. They know what they're doing لأنه القانون بيقول من آخر دفعة عندهم 6 سنين ليقيموا دعوة. يعني لنقول مثلا اتصلوا بشخص اليوم قالوا له معلي ما فيك تدفع 10,000 بس فيك تدفع $20، بينبسط هذا الشخص بيدفع $20. هن مش على $20، هن لأنه هلأ صار فيهم يعدوا extra 6 years من هلأ ل6 سنين. ولنقول هذا الشخص بعد شهر رجع دفع $20، صارت 6 سنين من وقتها. يعني من آخر دفعة عندهم 6 سنين ليقدموا دعوة. أول ما يحصلوا على الأمر، إذا ما قدروا فرزوه دغري، الجادجمنت بميشيغان يعني أمر من المحكمة صالح تنفيذه لحد 10 سنين. إذا ما قدرت نفذته ب10 سنين فيك تروح على المحكمة وترجع تجدده ل10 سنين تانيين. يعني حكم من كريدت كارد كومباني can stay over your head لحد 6 سنين من وقت ما انت عملت اخر دفعة، ومن بعد ما يقدموا دعوة الحكم صالح ل10 سنين. واذا ما قدروا طبقوا وجابوا مصرياتهم بهال10 سنين بضلوا يلاحقوك وين عم تشتغل، ياخدوا 25% garnish your bank account الى اخره. بدك تضلك حذر على 10 سنين. واذا ما خلصوا بيقدروا يجددوا الحكم another 10 سنين. يعني شو صرنا 20 10 و10 20 و6 26. ومثل ما عم بيقول انه من الاشياء اللي بيستعملوها ليغشوا الانسان هي الشخص اللي ما عم يقدر يدفع، بيقولوا له ادفع $10 ادفع $20 لحتى to reset the reset button مثل ما بيقولوها. So very very interesting, and they know the employees who work for these credit card companies, they know what they're doing with this pay $10 pay $20.
Well, let me put it this way: the system isn't broken; it was built this way.
It was built this way.
Yes, they know what they're doing. Everything that they do is for a reason. and they don't stop coming at you until they get their money, or you're able.
By the way, I must tell you this. A bank of reputable, great reputation told someone I know, the daughter of a dear friend of mine who opened her first credit card. They told her at the bank, she opened it through that bank. They told her at the bank, pay the minimum. You don't have to worry about anything more. And that young lady believed it and has been paying the minimum. And that issue came up and I was able to show her, look what happened to your money. She was very upset. And that bank is a very reputable bank. بنك كتير محترم، يمكن في عدد كبير من العالم بيتعاملوا معه. قال لبنت صديقة إلي راحت تفتح أول كريدت كارد عندها، قالوا لها ما تدفعي إلا المينيموم، you'll be fine. ما شرحوا لها إذا دفعتي بس المينيموم شو بيصير بالمصاري الباقي. صار لها تقريبا سنة عم تدفع المينيموم، لا أكثر ولا أقل. بعدين انتبهت. Can you believe that؟ بكل الأحوال إن الله راد أنا رح لاقي هيدا الكتاب ورح جيب هيدا الإكزامبل لحتى نشارك بعضنا البعض فيه.
إن شاء الله.
Attorney Mike Bankstein, thank you very much. Wonderful
Joumana.
information. I love Susie Ormond's 5 kind of debts in order of priority.
That's nice. I'll have to check it out. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Joumana.
Michael.
Thank you, Rami.
شكرا
Thank you,
جمالا لك.
رامي. شكرا لكل المستمعين.
تحياتنا لكم ويجدد لقاءنا في حلقات مقبلة من برنامج Your Rights. إلى اللقاء.